So in the ideal world, the most empowered place to be along this continuum is what we call the authentic self. The authentic self is a self where if there were no negative consequences for your interactions, you would express your emotions the way you want to, you would non-verbally communicate however you want to, you would speak the way you want to, the words that come out of your mouth would be exactly what you want them to be, you would wear what you want to wear, you would share what you want to share and more. That's the authentic self. And in the ideal world, we ourselves as people coming into work and in the ways in which we're leading are coaching people to be as authentic as possible. The third self here is what I call the performing self. I've already talked to you about the performing self. Minimization lives in the performing self. The performing self, when I use the word performing, I don't mean like high performing, I mean like life is a stage and we're actors on the stage feeling the pressure to put out a curated sense of who we are. It's the self that feels like I don't have a choice but to mask aspects of my identity or to change who I am in order to gain acceptance or to advance. And so when we are living as a performing self, you'll notice it's right in the zone of disempowerment. We feel like we have to change how we dress. We feel like we have to change how we speak. We feel like we have to change our accent. We feel like we can't talk about the lived experiences with anxiety and depression that we have, or we can't talk about being a mom because we fear attracting motherhood penalty, or we feel like we can't emote the way we want to because, oh my gosh, they'll think I'm too flamboyant, or I have to force myself to be more extroverted and more emotionally expressive because I live on that side of the continuum. And if I don't, then you'll think I'm awkward and sterile and boring and I lack presence. And so we change who we are, and it feels completely disempowering to do. And actually, it's the reason we have high attrition of women and people from diverse communities. The minimization box of change and become like this, it's exhausting to conform to. So this is the performing self. We recognize where we're performing. We commit to doing it as little as possible. But as leaders, we also recognize where does my coaching cause people to perform. But the place that I want to pause on here, and this is a very important place for leadership and for inclusive coaching, but also if you come from a diverse community and you're wanting to better anchor in authenticity and make choices about how you behave, the adapted self is a very powerful place to be, and it's a self we've never talked about in this nuanced way. And remember earlier when I said the idea here is for all of us to understand the power of being adaptive. This ties back to the adapted self. So the adapted self is the self, and let me just say one more thing. The reason why the adapted self is so powerful is because we start to see that when we understand our choice to adapt, that we have more agency and autonomy and control over how we behave than we thought we did. So it helps us to see, oh, I'm actually more empowered than I thought I was, and I'm actually behaving more authentically than I thought I was, and this is a safe place for me to stay, and I can stay here for a while, or I can push myself to come over here and be more authentic. And so a lot of people, when they're junior and they're starting out in organizations, they start here and then they push into becoming more authentic when they feel safer and able to do that. So the adapted self is the self that says, okay, I understand where I'm performing, or I'm seeing this, and you're right, it feels terrible, it feels exhausting. I want to do this as little as possible. But I can't be my authentic self 100% of the time either, because I want to keep my job, or I want to advance in my job, or I want to keep my children, keep my spouse, like not go to jail, not get voted off the island, like all of that. And I can't be authentic 100% of the time either. And by the way, no one can be authentic 100% of the time. No one. Based on my work research, no one can do it. Why? We live in communities. We're in tribal communities, and we need mechanisms of social control. So everyone must adapt. The question then becomes, like, where are you adapting? How are you adapting? How is it serving you? And the adaptive self is a self that says, okay, I will exercise my choice. It's a choice to change my behavior, to adapt my behavior to meet my needs and the needs of others. So it serves us. It feels good to do. It's still a manifestation of our authenticity. And so we will adjust our behavior, we'll adapt our behavior across multiple dimensions.